Hi
Hi,
everyone.
Fiona.
Hey you, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. We are Andy Goulet and Associates. My name's Fiona McDonald and this is,
Krista Klundert.
and we're super excited to come to you to kind of break down what the market is doing in Windsor Essex County for the month of May. So we're happy to join you. We're going to break it down so you don't have to read through it, fall asleep in your bed trying to figure it out. We're going to simplify it, share the information that pertains to you that you might be interested in, and then we're going to let you get back to your day. So, Krista, do you want to start off?
Yeah, definitely. So, yes, May stats are out and more mind-blowing numbers, right? What is going on? We are in a pandemic. So, the average sale price for May 2021 was $563,000, which is actually an increase of 43% over May of last year. So, we continue to climb.
Which is insane to me because, like, May of last year is when we saw things pick up. Like, we were talking April and March when we did the stats. We were kind of going, is that a relevant increase to share just because everyone was on lockdown? But May got busy last year. Agreed?
Very busy.
So
Yes.
I'm like,
So
I'm
you're
going to be
right.
curious to see that percentile in June because June was a zoo. But anyways,
Last year.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
And it to me it's continuing to climb, right?
yeah,
So
sure
I
is.
am anxious to see this month. But yeah, we are at 563. Looks like listings have come up this year over last year by 51%. So that's quite a bit. But
It's just nuts.
again, we came out of our very first lockdown last time, right? So people were kind of trying to navigate this newness,
Right.
and now we're kind of used to it. And I think we're just simply back to the traditional spring market with more inventory, right? That's what happens every spring. So people are really navigated this and made this the new normal. And real estate is doing exactly what it should.
Completely agree. And it's exciting. It's wonderful to watch that things have not slowed down, even in the midst of our Ontario lockdown. Ontario's strong and we like our housing market. So
Yeah.
it's driving all of these numbers. Still a good time to buy, still a fantastic time to sell, right?
Oh, exactly. Yes. Yeah. And with the increase in inventory, great time for buyers, right? You've got a little bit more to choose from, but you're for the sellers, you're still seeing those fantastic numbers that we have been.
Completely agree. Like it's very noticeable all of a sudden with my buyers that they now have a little bit of a selection. Like I would say for the last few months, it's like you want a house, here's two to pick from, right?
Yeah.
Um, so that's nice that there's a little bit of a range of selection now for sure.
Yeah.
So
Which is
what do
what
all
we
these,
were all,
sorry, go
oh, go
ahead.
ahead. No, I was gonna say, which is what we were all kind of hoping for, right? So it's neat to watch these predictions kind of now come to fruition.
Right. And I always tell my clients, I don't have a crystal ball to be able to predict what's going on. And none of us would expect that this market would have come out of a pandemic. But I'm just so happy to see it continuing on in that manner, right?
Agreed, 100%.
Right. Okay. So what do these numbers look like compared to last month? Let's see. Okay. So what I'm seeing is basically the same. Like there are slight differences from April to May, but we've got a pretty solid, steady market going on here. I think there was an 800 or sorry, $8,534 decrease in average sales price if you take a look, right? But
Yeah.
to me, that just means consistency, right?
Oh, exactly.
Um,
It's so small. It's not even really worryable. But I think what's interesting is seeing the number of listings have come up so slightly as well, right? So that totally relates and totally makes sense.
Yep, absolutely. We had 84 more listings on the board in May over April. So again, slight increase. We all celebrated it because there were not many listings at all. 84 was a big win for more
Yeah.
listings in May, but I do expect to see that percentage really kind of spike for the month of June. I know I get ahead of myself. I'm in next month already, but I
That's
always like
okay.
to pretend to predict. And then almost the exact same amount of sales, right? We've just got a few less sales.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
So just kind of the same trajectory month to month, I would say, over the last couple months. You?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But our average sale price is holding steady. So again, not to sound like a used car salesman, but if you're thinking of selling, it's still
And we just lost Krista, so I guess I'm gonna go this my own. What she was gonna say is it's a fantastic time to sell and it's a fun time to buy, jump into the market and let this craziness work for you. So just gonna talk about the most popular home styles and their average sale prices. So we had 156 bungalows sell in the month of June. Average sale price was 439,588, and you're back.
I'm so sorry. Technology is amazing when it works, but I just
Yeah,
literally just
exactly.
picked me off. So my
So
kids
nice to
online,
see you.
I don't know. What's going on? I
Good. So
apologize.
I'm just going through the most popular styles. Bungalows were most popular by quite a significant amount, 156 units sold. Over 2 stories were 100 units sold. Average sale price is 720, 522. 1.5 stories, 92 units. So pretty similar to the 2 story, similar layouts as well, right?
Mhm.
You've got ranches at 84 units this month. Average selling price is 718,000. A lot of people looking for ranches, I find. And then
Yes.
raised ranch, which to me is a little bit surprising, only, I don't want to say only, but 79 units sold. And we in Windsor, Essex County have like a large number of raised ranches. I didn't know what that was till I moved here. We have a lot
Yeah.
of them. And they're great
Yeah.
layouts, but I just can't believe that that's the smallest number of units sold in our area.
You know, just a thought, a raised ranch is a fantastic COVID house because usually the basement's finished and usually you have an office or a bedroom down there, right? So
Right.
maybe people that are in raised ranches are staying in them and not listing and not selling because it really is COVID friendly. I don't
There
know.
you
Just,
go. That's a good speculation. We're always trying to figure it out, right? Like
yeah,
why? What is the why behind these numbers? For sure.
yeah,
So
exactly.
what are we looking at? Are there any changes that we should be talking about or thinking about, like looking forward into June?
I think that, like I mentioned earlier, I think we are seeing such a traditional spring market. It's not quite summer yet, right? And every spring inventory increases. So if you're a buyer, I think it is a great time to get out there. You do have a little bit more to choose from.
Yeah.
I think with that increase of inventory, though, it's not, obviously we've got the numbers to prove it. It's not decreasing prices, right? So if you're thinking of selling, don't let that scare you. Personally, I see buyers being very, and I say this in a good way, aggressive. So if they want your house, they will pay for it, right? They may be competing against less people, but you're still getting the same results. So don't be afraid to list and or buy. It's a great time for both.
Completely agree. And I'm very curious as to, so it was just announced yesterday, kids are not going back to school in this month. So I was kind of waiting to see what things would look like when all the kids went back, because all of these affect people's buying habits,
Hmm.
so on and so forth. Like everybody's at home with their children if you've got young kids or school age children, right? So curious what that's going to look like once the kids are done school. Curious what the market's going to do once we're out of lockdown. Like we're going to be stepping into hopefully phase one of the reopening plan, and I, I don't even know what that's going to look like for the market, right? Because really anything that I would have projected last year to this year probably would have been wrong. So I'm not going to
Didn't
speculate, but
happen.
just really
Yeah.
curious to watch and see what happens. And we should bring up, if you are a buyer, you go and talk to your mortgage or lender as soon as possible. Just with the new, do you want to talk about that, Krista?
Yes, a little bit, because I will admit talking to your mortgage person is better than talking to any of us. They know a lot more than us. But from what I understand, you have to be pre-approved now with the new June 1st mortgage rules. So in a very small nutshell, and there's a lot more to it, but a quick conclusion of it, the stress test has changed. So prior to June 1st, you had to be approved at 4.89%, even though mortgage rates were 2% or whatever the heck you were getting. But the bank wanted to make sure you could afford it, so they would approve you up to 4.89. That has now changed to 5.2%. So they are looking out for people, making sure they can still afford their homes, even if mortgage rates go up. From what I understand, that has changed people's buying power by about 3 or 4%. So a lot of people think, you know, a $400,000 house is now going to drop down to 300 because of the new mortgage rules. No, absolutely not. It's only 3 or 4% of buying power. So point being though, and Fiona, if you've got any more tips on the new rules, please, I should be better versed in them than this, but talk to your mortgage broker or mortgage advisor, whatever.
Yep, give them a shout, make sure you know exactly where you stand. And all I want to say is these new rules that are put in place actually make me quite happy because it is to protect our market and our buyers and our sellers. Just to make sure that everybody can afford long-term whatever it is they're purchasing, right? It's protection. So
That's right.
I don't see it as a negative at all. I just think of it as kind of due diligence. Lost Krista again, but we're just wrapping up anyways. I want to say thanks so much for joining us. If you have any questions about any of the things that we discussed, please give us a ring, shoot us an email, send a message on here. We'd love to hear from you. And we just want to say thank you so much, Windsor-Essex County, for always being so wonderful to us as Angie Goulet and Associates. And Krista's back. Do you want to say anything before we go?
I'm so sorry. Technology again. Wow. No. Don't be afraid to reach out to us. Don't be afraid to pick our brains. There's a lot of that going on right now. Like Fiona said, we don't have the answers to everything, right? We are playing this day by day, just like you guys, but we are so fully immersed in it that hopefully we can give you a little bit of guidance. So please don't be afraid to reach out. And no, thank you to everyone that has been reaching out and having these great conversations, and looking forward to a patio on June 14th.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, everyone, have a good day. Bye, Krista. Thanks so much.
Bye.